All right, we talked about trig ratios today, and so we need to continue with how we can use these trig ratios with right triangles. So remember, we have three trig ratios. We have sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent, opposite over adjacent, for that lovely mnemonic SOHCAHTOA. So as we look at these triangles, we're still looking to solve for that missing side length. So we're going to start with the angle measure that we're given. And we don't start with 90 degrees, we always look at one of the acute angles. So if we start here at 40 degrees, this makes this side opposite and this side the hypotenuse. So that trig ratio, opposite over hypotenuse, is sine. So we're going to start with the sine of 40 is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. And now it's just a matter of solving for x. And when we have a fraction, we solve for x by multiplying by that denominator, by that reciprocal. And so these 23's will cancel. And in my calculator, just like I see it, I'm going to hit the sine button. Or, excuse me, I'm going to put the 23 out front. 23 sine of 40 degrees. And I'll close that out. And it's asking us to round to the nearest tenth. So that's going to be 14.8. So x is going to equal 14.8. And that's our final answer there. I'm going to continue with the odds, and I'll allow you to practice with the evens here in a moment. So let's look up at 17. So again, if we start with the acute angle that we are given, that's 45 here, so this becomes the opposite, and this is the side length that's adjacent. So you have to ask yourself, all right, what trig function uses that ratio opposite over adjacent, and it's tangent. So we're going to say tangent of 45 is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Now, there's a rule of proportionalities that tells us that when we're solving for the denominator, we can just swap these spots. So really we're saying x equals 15 divided by the tangent of 45 degrees. So again, we'll go into our calculators. And division, or a fraction is just a division statement. So I'm going to say 15 divided by the tangent of 45, and that gives me 15. Number 19, we'll continue with our examples here. Number 19, again, start with the acute angle that you're given, so 60 degrees. That makes this the opposite side, and this the adjacent side. So it looks like we're going to have another tangent problem. So we'll have the tangent of 60 degrees equal to the opposite over the adjacent. And one more time, we'll swap those spots for the laws of proportionality. So this is going to be x equals 43 divided by the tangent of 60. Put that in my fancy dancy calculator here. And we want the decimal, okay, round all answers to the nearest tenth. So this is going to be x equals 24.8. To round off our last example here, okay, 21, again, start with that acute angle. and label your side. So this is the adjacent side, and this is the hypotenuse. So this is the only trig ratio left that we haven't talked about yet in our examples. It's cosine. So the cosine of 71 is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So once again, we'll have x equal to 24 divided by the cosine of 71. And I'm going to get x equals 73.7. Go ahead and pause the video and try the evens. Or if you don't want to watch anymore, you may turn off and try the evens without checking your answers. But here in a moment, I'll show you the answers of the evens. Alright, let's take a moment and check our evens. So there's 16 and 18. Look at my work, look at the trig ratio I used. Double check you're setting these up correctly. $20 and $22. We'll continue to practice this in class, so please bring any questions that you may have. The next video is talking about solving for the missing angle.